It's okay. It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. Off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego die the politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not they off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live, and you are welcome to the today's edition of Sunday Sermon, the place where we always have it so blunt, raw, unfettered, and straight to the point, in a way that it can actually get you offended at some point. But people are getting used to the bluntness, the honesty, the sincerity, the factual backing that some of what I'm going to tell you will come with. Some may come hilarious to you. You may probably just laugh. But we know how we do it on my Egun's Diary Political. You will never lose the message. So remember, as you are settling down, drop your, like that video, share the video. If this is your first time of joining Mayegun, or if you have been watching Mayegun everywhere, but you've never really subscribed, do it before we proceed.
Ani Mayegun lawamo jojojojo Mayegun diary na ibi Ani esunraki Mayegun.
Tell them that Mayegun is live. Share the video as well, okay? Invite your friends and not your friendly friends. Read the caption of the broadcast. It's so clearly written. The description as well. Read all the body. That's all we're going to be talking about today. So, if time permits, we might probably take some calls. Hopefully. If not, we'll do that later tonight during our prime time where everybody really want to be. So, we want to talk about pressing the reset button. The reset button. A very critical subconscious button that readily exists in every human soul. Pressing the reset button. Something that the oppressors, career oppressors in Nigeria, dread a lot. The systemic breakup of Nigeria. I want to try and bring you to reality. Okay? The reality of something that even you, kind of found as a puzzle. Sounds good or too good to be true. But it is the reality. The earlier you begin to live in that reality, the better for you on your subsequent or future judgments, like when they continue to lie to you that an election will fix it. You know it won't. That is a reality. What can you do to change that? A lot. The first one is abstain. When you abstain, you do not give validity. When they tell you that the only thing you need to forge ahead is just unity, that is fraudulent and manipulative, because unity is exclusively relative. It is not just a word. It comes with actions. The people that brought division, that brought chaos, that brought violence, the people that promoted ethnic division, religious supremacy, they can't preach unity without giving up all those vices. Now, that is what will bring us to reality, which is my own job to do with you. When you begin to be able to differentiate the reality from the fiction that they continue to make you propagate and defend, something that they told you all you needed to do is to do this. Listen, I found out that when people say do things the right way, we are not saying you shouldn't break up. We are not saying that you shouldn't take over the young people. Or we are not saying that this and that should not happen. But we want you to do it the right way. You know why they say right way? Because there is no right way when you are not the one who determines what is the right way. You know why? The right way is corrupt. They control that right channel. They say, channel your grievances through the right channel. Who controls the right channel? They control the right channel. Example, in a working society where law and order rules, where everybody is equal before the law, whether rich or poor, powerful or powerless, vulnerable or celebrity, trust me, before the law, you should all be equal in a working society. But in Nigeria, you know this difference. You know this disparity, the stretch of what probably differentiates you from them. Now, those who have become powerful through your division, they cannot in any way be part of your redemption or liberation. So when they say go through the right channel, they are telling you to go and register to vote. They are telling you to go and run for offices. They are telling you that if you lose an election, for example, you can go through the courts. Or if you go through the court and you can go to the Supreme Court. But who controls all these channels? Who? From the point of registering your political party to the point of mobilizing for your voters and even registering to vote, including when you are cheated and you decided to go to court. Who controls those channels? They do. Therefore, it will be back to ground zero. And when they set the rule that they don't obey, you should not obey such rule. And that is why when you match reset starts from here, your mind. Everywhere from your medulla oblongata, where things are cooked up, imagined, practicalized, visualized, and eventually brought to life. Here is where they have managed to take over. When you press that reset button here, that you no longer obey their rules. You are no longer bounded by their laws. You are no longer in any way controlled by their moral ethics set that which they don't follow. It starts from here. they will call you a rebel. When the number grows beyond enormous, they scamper, they scare. It is about to go down. And that is why the job of trying to silence everyone is actually a bigger mission than them enjoying the power they control or wield. Listen, it is like a catch-22. Nigeria is a contraption put together without any one of us' contribution. No say. When they brought 1999 transition to civilian, they set the rules. They wrote the laws. And then they now handed over to themselves the security, which is the lifeline of any government to start with. And they told you, you can't change that if you want to keep democracy. What kind of democracy is that? That 200 million people agreed to work with a book that they had no clue what was written in it. To start with, you had no say. Starting from the day of amalgamation, the amalgamation to the day of 1999 democracy, even to this day of Daura lifeless breeding mannequin, Mumumadu Bokohari, where jihadists are now those who are setting the rules. There was never a time that you actually had any kind of sovereignty given to you. No sovereignty given to you. None of us. But they coerced you, made you believe that all you needed to be part of a country that you will call yours was to register and vote. Meanwhile, that should be the right channel, shouldn't it? But you know the story. Today, we have the Biafrans who want to leave. We have the Yorubas who want to leave. We have the Middle Beltans who are also considering taking their leave. And having a national conversation around all these differences scared just one people. The Fulani, Hausa Fulani, well, two people this time around, who would like us to see them as one. They are elites, with collaboration, in collaboration with their southern serfs, who continue to march all of us towards the feudalist state that these Fulani jihadists from the Sahel are forcing on us. But guess what? Even when many of them are not coming out publicly to agree with us that the best thing to do to save Nigeria and Nigerians is to begin the process of peaceful dissolution of that fake contraption to save lives. They may not be coming publicly to agree with us, but guess what? The systemic breakup of Nigeria is ongoing. Let me share something with you. And before I even continue, because that's something about Mayegun's Diary Politico, we received the sad news of the death of Professor Obadiah, my Lafia, the professor that warned us that indeed they from Southern Kaduna down to Middle Belt, they have been the bulletproof, taking all the bullets, all the killings for the rest of the Southern Nigeria for the past 6 years. That what you are witnessing in Southern Nigeria right now is just some, spillover from what the death that they have witnessed in, the Middle Belt of Nigeria. And he said, from the end of 2021 and from beginning of 2022, Their plot is to push everybody into a state of civil war. And many, many things have happened since he told us that. We received the report that he died today in Abuja. So for some of you who don't know who Professor Mailafia is, this is one of his interviews to awaken our consciousness of the danger ahead. This was last year, one of the viral one. Watch.
And the truth. And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They are already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They are everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. Don't joke with what I'm saying. I have a PhD from Oxford University. I'm a central banker. We don't talk nonsense. So don't joke with what I'm telling you. I have this from the highest possible authority, higher authorities of some of the commanders of the killers and Boko Haram.
You said northern governors, past or present, Dr. Badaya?
No, current. No, they said one of them is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. One of them. And they are not looking for money. They have more than enough money. In fact, he told me they just came back from...
May his soul rest in peace. That's all you say to a warrior who lost the battle of life, while the rest of us continues. You don't know when you're going to stop yours. Use your time judiciously. And they said, in this battle, he will try to protect his life, or he will try to save his life, will lose it. But he who is ready to lose his life will save it. Whatever that means, use your time that you have now. Do not let the scare or the fear of what Nigeria has done to you continue to speak to you that there is no way out of this. We are done for. When your mind begins to think differently, every other solution proffered to get out of this logjam will begin to make sense to you. But if your fear is still your fear, there will be little to really change. Little difference. Use your time well. For those Buhari idiots, barbarians, suffering and smiling morons, trust me, you have the time now that you are still breathing. You can make a difference rather than being a bandwagon, a mob, a sufferhead mob who thinks God loves him because he's a poor man. God loves the poor. That's some trickish BS that they manage to fix into your head. God loves the poor man. Not in this case. Systemic breakup of Nigeria. Systemic. Those who didn't agree with us, those who said that asking to break up Nigeria is extreme. Come on, let's have a chat. Now they are not having a chat. before taking their own systemic step-by-step the breaking up of Nigeria. This is one of the reasons. I'm going to read this out to you. Sorry, I could have put it on my screen, but it's so tiny that I may not be able to read from far from my screen. So I'll use my device that is close to my, Now, you have heard about the VAT war. VAT war. The reason why Nigeria is still Nigeria is because there is still some money being squeezed from the southern Nigeria, okay? And some of you may never really know how huge the fraud called Nigeria is, okay? And why you will remain underdeveloped, no matter where you come from, with the calibers of criminals that controls the wealth of that country, all right? Wealth redistribution, wealth creation, that can be the job through the policies of government that can really change your life directly. But in the last 6 years, after trillions of naira stolen, wasted, and then trillions of naira borrowed, right? This is the picture of what your Nigeria in the last 6 years have been under Bokohari. Unemployment rate when they came in was put at 8.19%. But today it's put at 33.28%. That's even just like the official figure. Multiply that by 2, then you get 66.56%. That is the genuine one anyway, but let's work with this. Can you see the difference? From 8% unemployment to 33.28%. Food inflation. When you used to buy a bag of rice for 7,500 naira, you remember? That seems to be like years ago. It's like 10,000 years ago, Abi. No, it was just 6 years ago. They were supposed to make your life better, remember? No, they came to destroy you, destroy everything they could destroy, and still tell you or blame you that you are not doing enough, that they are not getting enough from you, okay? Now, from 9% to 22.7%, which is not true. You can say food inflation in Nigeria can be put at 300%. 300%. Because a bag of rice of 7,500 naira in 2015 today is 28,000, 30,000 naira per bag. How many 7,500 are you going to see in 28,000 naira? Is that 22% increase? How many of you are now talking about what you pay for your cooking gas and so many other things that you pay for? Are the increment 22%? Of course not. This one are the thing where they put for book, where they are what they are working with to help you. How can this help you when it's not even really, right? But let's work with it again. The Nigerian debt in figure was around 12.6 trillion in 2015. Today, it is 32.9 trillion. Your poverty has increased. They have borrowed more money. You are more in debt. Okay. Now, go on to the foreign reserves. So, in these foreign reserves, right, the GPT they are doing there is that they can alter it. When they came in, they told you that they met no penny. Now, today, in that foreign reserve, they met 28 billion according to this data. Meanwhile, it is currently at 34 billion. So you can say they saved how much? 6 billion into your foreign reserve in 6 years, right? But they borrowed over, over $40 billion. Some said part of money they borrow, they deliberately just put them in the foreign reserve and make it look like they are saving. Another fraud that is not really working, because that didn't make the naira in any way stronger. Not just that. Go on to the the exchange rates. When they came in, a dollar to a naira was, naira to a dollar was 197 naira to a dollar. Today, they put it at 410. You know it's not 410. It is now 570 naira to a dollar today, 6 years after. Go on to your GDP. Your GDP in Nigeria has shrunk now, okay? When Goodluck Jonathan said he rebased your economy, they said your economy was worth, back then, your economy was worth over $500 billion. However, this data says it was 492 billion, okay? under Bokohari in 6 years. They gave him this. They said, your economy has shrunk to 429 billion. And that figure too is not true, completely true, because Nigerians' economy is now in negative. This is why, right? A country that has been hemorrhaging for the past 6 years because of the looting and incompetence of these criminals who came to loot, kill, and destroy, right? So your GDP growth, you were growing at 2.35%. In fact, you were growing about 3% in 2015, right? Today, you are now growing. I mean, you are now, regressing, or what do you call that? You are regressing as a country, okay? Which means you are now in negative. Nothing. Every 10, you see, when you have 10 naira in Nigeria, every 10 naira that your government make. I'm saying all of this just to let you know how all of this data affects you, why things are so hard for you, why it is so difficult to survive, and you are looking around and you are like, why are things so difficult for me? No village people is doing you. There is no witch or wizard holding your destiny. There is nobody that caused you. There is no generational causes working against your destiny. Look at all these figures I just gave to you now. The impact that they're having in your life is that you will be having so much difficulty surviving in an economy that is going to strangulate you. You are going to have a lot of money very soon, but it will become so worthless that you yourself will begin to know the impact of all this they are doing to you. Why they are doing all of that on different scale, right? And you have more people who have lost their jobs now. You have more businesses who are folded up now, right? You have more people who are being recruited into more crime, different crimes now everywhere. North, south, east, west, everywhere now. It is because everybody is going to react to a terrible economy, even if they pretend that they are not affected. You can join the bandwagon of those who love to blame people for their problems. Listen, this is also your problem. And no village people is after your life. Nobody is holding your destiny, like I said. This alone is an economy rigged against you. You can never survive within this, except you go criminally. Anyway, now, Nigeria, every time Nigeria has 10 naira, 9 naira of 10 naira that Nigeria make is going into servicing debts. Let me explain that. Nigeria has become so indebted and Nigeria has become so broke that because not many people are working anymore, therefore, not many people have the, what do you call it? They call it spending power. I don't know if that's the right word. The people's spending power comes from when you have job, okay? And you get paid on time. You will pay your rent. You will pay for the electricity. You will buy food stuff. You will pay school fees. You will pay every other thing you want to get. You may even buy yourself or, repair your car anyway, because when you work, you pay your tax before they pay you your salary. When you get your salary and you spend that money, purchasing power, God bless you. Thank you very much. I've got brilliant people on my Egon's Diary Political, and they follow. The way to know that people actually follow my conversation is that they help me with some keywords. I love that. Thank you so much, Christopher. Your purchasing power comes from when you have ability to earn income. When your economy is rigged against you, more people are jobless. More businesses are closing up. That simply means less money for the government. In order for government to get more money, they will have to raise taxes on those of you who are working and those businesses that are still operating. And the more they raise the taxes, the more they will be strangulating many of you out of their businesses. The more the economy will be going badder and badder and badder, if there's any word like that. So that affects you directly in this regard, which simply means that not everybody is after you after all. However, when you don't have that power, you are subjected to the whims and caprices, the control of those who are able to offer those replacements. In this case, most of the time, people turn to philanthropists because they see the loopholes of having the opportunity of filling in the gap. Like I said, politicians do the most. And as rigged as Nigeria is, Nigeria is earning, let me put it this way, like I tried to explain there, right? Nigeria is earning less money now because, less people are working. Less businesses are operating. Apart from the poor electricity, poor infrastructure, and so many other things that are mitigating against smooth running of businesses in Nigeria, double taxation and the rest of that, the politicians in power continue, right, to destroy every little things that could help improve their economy in a way. So in this regard, Nigeria had to start borrowing money. That's why Nigeria is borrowing. In order to fill in the space that all of you that no longer have jobs, all of you have now managed to japa, left Nigeria, you won't pay tax to Nigeria anymore. And that is a loss to Nigeria. As you lose your job, Nigeria is losing. But politicians don't care because they can always find elsewhere to get the money in your name. In this regard, they have taken even beyond what they can pay back. Now, from whatever they earn from you, including money from petrol, if Nigeria make 10 naira this month, Nigeria is going to pay 9 naira to service their gbese. Not pay back debt. Oh. There's a difference between saying, I want to pay back my debt. No. Servicing means you are paying the interest accumulated on your different debts with different lenders every month. So when you put all that money together, you borrow money from this, you borrow money from that. This one will take 2 naira. That one will take 1 naira 50 kobo. That one will take 4 naira. This one will take 3 naira. By the time they take that naira, because it's the interest for that month, not the real debt, the entire country is now left with 1 naira. You can put my 10 naira into $10 billion. Well, you never make $10 billion. Well, put it in $10 billion, which is not true. You don't make $10 billion. Let's say you're making 100 million naira, $100 million. Put it in dollars. That's heavy with your naira, with your shitty naira now. So that simply means even if you are making 100 million, even if you are making $1 billion, your creditor, the people who borrowed you money, they are going to take $990 million of that money. And they'll give you $10 million. So you can then go and use that $10 million. What can you promote? Do with that? So that is why the money from VAT, I didn't know that money is that much. Oh, people, let me give you figures. The reason why they want to keep Nigeria one, and you should never let them do it because it is at your own expense, at the expense of your own children, at the expense of your own healthcare, at the expense of your own children's education, your education, at the expense of your own future, job, better life. This is against what you should be standing for, keeping Nigeria one. Here is why. See, 8 months, really. In 8 months, 8 months, I want to tell you how much each state in Nigeria generated from VAT. The VAT there is your consumer, or should I call it consuming tax? Some of you are economists. You can help me out, whatever you call it. You see that value-added tax? For anything, if you go hotel, go sleep, and they charge you 50,000 naira per night, that hotel is going to pay 7.5% of that money to the government of the state where you go hotel. If you come there inside that hotel and you decided to declare surplus, you begin to do the doings, like, the normal doings. They can't declare bar open. People can't drink. For every bottle of the drink you buy, whether na alomo bitters, Whether na fonogawo, brukutu, or ma forgot, whatever. Whatever you buy there, every bottle, including table water and sachet water, pure water, the hotel, they will pay 7.5% to the state, the government of that state. Are you following? The only thing that I think you don't pay tax on is if you carry, you get what I mean? If you have to not want to sleep alone. That's, I don't know who those pay their taxes to, but that's the only thing you don't pay tax on. Like I said, that one, you pay the tax to the person where you buy from, but that bottle. So it now depends on you. How do you develop your state enough, create the atmosphere where people can, I'm sorry, someone said, why do you have to use hotel? What about all of us where they buy pepper, where they buy all these things? They pay VAT on them too. Okay? But it's just that it is a different tax once they come to the pepper seller. In Lagos, na the Agbero and the local government Agbero, they collect that one. They collect money from pepper seller. They collect, that one. But I'm talking about if you buy, even from that hold up, if you should say, Baba, you check your bank account and you realize that the only thing where you get there now just 600 naira, and they go house, no money, no nothing, and you decided to just, in the hold up, somebody is there, chilled alomo, inside 7-Up, Mirinda, and so many other juice there. You cited the alomo, code, chilled. They say now 250 inside hold up. You say, well, if I perish, I perish. I don't buy ticket for bus already. I only have 300 naira in my account. And you decide to buy that alomo, 250 naira. You see that alomo? 7.5% of that 250 naira you just bought in that hold up goes to the government of the state you buy it from. Just like every other thing you buy. I don't know if they take the same thing on petrol. I don't know. But I'm talking about consumables now. So it's now up to you. I didn't know that, oh boy, Nigeria is a fraud. Nigeria is complete fraud. This is not how a country should run. No, forget it. There can be generous and prosperous states in a country, in a federation, and other people will have to discover their own ways, like not building a terrorist industry that you'll be using the money from the south to fund and be telling us that it is the problem of Nigeria. No, it's not the problem of Nigeria. This cutting out of the VAT is part of the systemic breakup of Nigeria. You may not know yet. And this is why. Watch. They said in 8 months from January to August, Abia State generated, you can do the divide and division. I'm not really good at that, okay? Abia State generated 2.29 billion naira. But when the total money they have collected from VAT is 20.02 billion. Abia generated 2.2 billion in 8 months. But because VAT money, the way that they do them, they will collect everybody's money, put it in a jar, and start distributing the money. Do you get that now? Adamawa even generated money than Abia. Adamawa generated 3.6 billion. Adamawa collected 22.2 billion in 8 months. Akwa Ibom generated 8.3 billion in 8 months. They collected 27.7 billion. From VAT, this is not oil money now, VAT. Anambra generated 5.9 billion in 8 months. Guess how much they collected? 25 billion. Bauchi generated 5.3 billion in 8 months. They collected 25.6 billion. Bayelsa generated 12.5 billion. But they got 17.5 17.6 billion. Somebody we generated 12 billion in 8 months, collected 17 billion. But somebody who generated 2 billion, collected 20 billion. Abia. Adamawa that generated 3 billion, collected 22 billion. Anyway, Benue generated 1.2 billion. And that is understandable. Benue is known as the food basket of Nigeria, where almost half of the food you see in Nigeria comes from Benue farmers. The Fulani terrorists have destroyed Benue. Now all you have is not farms anymore. What you have mostly, right? They are now graveyards. Although they don't get VAT from farm produce, by the way. But maybe if there's no violence, if there's no terrorism, maybe they would have probably built industries to process their own food that they can collect VAT on. You dey dig? Wait for your states. No, they laugh yet. Or don't get angry yet. Okay? VAT na bazaar. They just collected from the rich people, who are working people. People who be say religion, no, they control their life. People who do things logically enough in a rigged system, but still pay. If they follow, then they use the money to service lazy states with lazy governors, unproductive criminals who think they can actually speak for you and me. Like what in hell? Wait for your states. Benue State generated 1.2 billion. They collected Jesu 24.5 billion. That's how much Benue collected in 8 months from VAT. Throughout the 8 months, they only generated 1.2 billion. That's massive. Borno generated 3.4 billion. They collected 25.89 billion. Cross River generated 2.3 billion. And they also collected 20.47 billion. Delta states. Delta generated 13.96 billion. And they collected 27.85 billion. Ebonyi generated 7.8 billion. They collected 18.7 billion in 8 months. Edo generated 8.2 billion. And they collected 22.5 billion. Ekiti generated 6.6 billion. And they collected 19.7 billion in 8 months. Enugu generated 5.4 billion. And they collected 20.7 billion. These are not monthly. If I tell you that they generated this, that's how much they generated in 8 months. Every month. Not that they are generating it every month. No. Total money they generated from January to August this year is what I meant by they generated. And the total money they collected during that period together from January to August. That's the total they collected. It's not that they collected that every month. No. Don't mix it up. Gombe generated 4.4 billion. Anyway, they generated 4 billion. And they collected 17.6 billion in 8 months. Imo generated 1.9 billion. Imo State collected 25.2 billion in 8 months. Jigawa generated 3.3 billion. And they collected 26.4 billion Kaduna. Kaduna has a company called the Nigerian Breweries. The highest payer of taxes in Kaduna is the Nigerian Brewery. In fact, they pay more than 90% of the totally generated taxes in Kaduna State. Quote me anywhere. They may tell you otherwise, but trust. But guess what? They have Kaduna Taliban called Isba. Just like the same way they have the Kano Taliban called Isba. Breaking bottle. Produced. Filled up by the Nigerian breweries. That doesn't make their money from the north. But were compelled to set up their plant in the north at the center of the Sharia, where their trade is not welcome. But to fill in the quota system, they continue to pay taxes to Kaduna state government, even when their trade is completely against their Sharia. Now, Kaduna generates 18 points. So if Nigerian Brewery moves out of Kaduna, you know what will happen. Abi, even Kaduna Little Finger knows about this. Well, they generated 18.3 billion in 8 months from VAT alone. And they collected 32.72 billion. Kano generated 24.49 billion in 8 months. And they collected, the total they collected is 47.9 billion. Katsina, where Bokohari comes from, they generated 3.78 billion and they collected 31.5 billion in 8 months. Masaku, that comes from there too. Kebbi generated 1.2 billion. You remember Lake Rice, the partnership between Lagos and Kebbi. So it's a short for Lagos, Lay. KE for Kebbi, Lake. And they called it Lake Rice. Last, now for campaign, now GPT. So Kebbi generated 1.2 billion and they collected 22.1 billion. Kogi generated 3.2 billion, collected 22.2 billion. Kwara generated 3.4 billion, collected 19 billion. Oh, do you know the Father Christmas? Do you want to know who the Father Christmas was for the past years? Lagos. Lagos is the Father Christmas that is doing giveaway for free. Lagos generated in 8 months, VAT from Lagos alone was 430 billion naira. Guess how much Lagos collected in 8 months from that money? 139 billion. Now, do you know where the billions are coming from now? Lagos Abobaku, are you listening? You, the Oshogbo Alimajiris, are you watching? The humbled slaves, obedient fools, sophisticated morons. Are you watching? You listening? You've been the Father Christmas, and they won't even give you that special status they call Lagos special status they campaigned with in 2015, among other failed promises. I just thought I should remind you. As they wheeled your Tifnumbu, the Jaga bandit, the Jaga weary, the Jaga addict of Lagos to London, turned him to photo where everybody goes to take pictures today. Are you listening? Father Christmas. Father, you generated 429 billion 430 billion. And they only gave you 139 billion. Even though the 139 billion, now here you go hear see, you know, go see you know what I'm talking about? Press the reset button now. Let's go further a little bit. I'm from Ogun State. So I'll stop by Nasarawa. Nasarawa generated 2.4 billion and they collected 16 billion Lagos money. Niger generated 3 billion and they collected 25 billion Lagos money. Ogun State generated 11.8 billion in 8 months. Ogun State collected 25.2 billion Lagos money. Ondo generated 4.5 billion. They collected 22 billion Lagos money. Osun generated 1.9 billion. They collected 24 billion Lagos money. Oyo generated, 64 billion. Well, this time around, I'm going to be adding the money of people they have been sharing. Guess how much Oyo State generated? Oh dear. Sheyi Makinde. In 8 months, Oyo generated 64.7 billion. Wow. They can do better. Do you see the potential I'm talking about? But guess how much they were given? Within that 8 months, Oyo State only collected 45 billion from their generated 65 billion. 20 billion inside the cookie jar for Samfara, for Ogun State, for Osun State, for Ondo State, for Kogi State, for Abia State, for Enugu, for Cross River, from everywhere. It never finished. It never finished. It never finished. It never finished. Plateau State generated 5.2 billion. They collected 21 billion. Lagos and Oyo money. River States, wow. Wike that started the revolution now. Fiscal restructuring. River State generated 90.3 billion in 8 months. Guess how much they gave River State from that money? They gave them 46 billion. Who no go mad? Una dey craze? How una just dey rob us like, you know what I mean? Something that somebody who said for Biafra should control all their resources, multiply their potential, and use everything that can get them even better and across board if they are not part of Nigeria. Do you get what I mean now? Yoruba says, oh, we can stand alone. I think, yes, we can stand alone. Trust me, we can replicate Lagos everywhere across Yoruba land. We've never created any new cities in Yoruba land since Awolowo and the rest of them. We've never created any. We have Ibadan. We have this. These our forefathers created those cities, and they have been there since before the existence of Nigeria. We can replicate Lagos everywhere. Trust me, we can. If we are not part of Nigeria. Because replicating Lagos everywhere right now is impossible. You know why? Because you will now have the resources to do that when you are just a beggarly part of Nigeria. All your money taken from you. Where do you want to finance such dream? You can't when you are part of Nigeria. You can't. Now you hear that? River State generated over 90 billion. They only gave them 46 billion. Who no go get mad? You should begin to get mad. And listen, it's not just about the VAT now. There are many other things they are robbing off you. Do you know something called the education tax fund? Education tax. All the companies in Nigeria, all of them, are expected to pay 2% of their income, of their profit before tax. So if a company makes 1 billion naira profit, they will pay 2% of that tax, of that to education tax fund, before government will then charge them for their normal tax. That 2% is meant for education. And that 2%, when they collect the money, was meant to be used for the education. If they collected 2% from all the companies in Ogun State alone will have more than 40 to 50 billion naira every month that they will be using to fund education in Ogun State alone. See Lagos State. If Lagos State begin to take that 2% on education tax that federal government is collecting, and putting in a new jar, and they are sharing it with all the people that are shutting down schools, all the people that are kidnapping school children, all the people that told us that book is haram, education is haram, and all this madness. Now, imagine if Lagos State is keeping their 2% too, the same way they are going to keep their VAT. Now, think about that. Imagine what that would do on education alone in Lagos State. Just use it for education. Think about the billions of that, what that would be. That is what nation building can be in a structured country where there is indeed law and respect to boundaries, respect to people's boundaries, where you don't go about and start taking from people and start telling them that you do that because God created Nigeria. If God created Nigeria, how come God didn't give you what you will use to sustain Nigeria without other people from other parts? So, bury that thought. Let's continue. Rivers State. Sokoto State generated 4.9 billion. They collected 24 billion. Lagos, Oyo, and Rivers State money. Taraba generated 1.7 billion. They collected 18.5 billion. Lagos, Oyo, and Rivers State money. Yobe generated 9.5 billion. They collected 20.5 billion. Lagos, Oyo, and Rivers State money. Zamfara generated. Oh dear. You remember I said Zamfara get gold. That's another fraud about Nigeria. Zamfara gold belong to Zamfara. Abi? But Niger Delta oil, Southern oil belong to Jigawa. River State oil belong to Jigawa. Abia State, Imo State oil belong to Jigawa. Ogun State oil, Ondo State oil, Lagos State oil. When they begin to exploit them, right, they will belong to Sokoto, Kano, Jigawa as well. But Zamfara gold belong to Zamfara. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I've been reading out billions and billions of VAT money that they collected. Guess how much Zamfara generated? In 8 months, 2021, they generated 598 million naira. Let's give them a round figure. They generated 600 million naira in 8 months, Zamfara. Do you want to know how much they collected? They have collected in 8 months from VAT money. You want to know? I'll tell you, of course. Zamfara alone collected 35.8 billion from the VAT money. Among other, you see, when I say VAT, I explain what VAT is to you, didn't I? This is just what you go out there to buy. This is not like whether you have job or whether you don't have work or it no matter. Maybe you dey eat. You dey flex once in a while. Abi, you know the flex. Raise up your pinky finger and say you know the flex. Even though if you no get job, you know the flex. You know buy food. As you they buy, they collect the VAT from it. As you they pay money out, they collect VAT from it. That VAT is the billion I'm reading out now. And you are in a country that doesn't really create any job. You are living in a place where the terrorists in government are using your money to fund the terrorism that they are indeed the backers. You've lost your right to real education, right to real health care. You've lost your right to even life, protection, liberty, freedom of speech. You've lost almost everything other than the fact that the only thing you haven't lost is your breath. Some people have lost their breath, out of breath all the time. They are losing it. Some have lost it completely, dead. That is the only thing you have left, most of the people, right? In a contraption that is so rigged that if you know how rigged it is, your blood will be boiling. You will be raging, angry. You know why you'll be angry? Because people will tell you there's nothing you can do about it. So some people don't even bother finding out because they have psychologically been told there's nothing you can do about it, my brother, forget it.
maybe not, maybe yes. Zamfara gold belong to Zamfara. And as you are watching this video, they've already partnered with Dubai. Zamfara gold are already finding their way to Dubai. Some of you may not know, United Arab Emirates is partnering with them already. They've already gotten the clearance from Bokohari. They are not interested in your Nigeria nonsense that some of you are propagating. The only message they have for you is that you should unite. You must be united. Press that reset button in your brain. The only way to be united is when we respect our boundaries. That is something they don't want to do. You found a jihadi system that will likely kill you anytime. It's just a matter of where and when. There is victory, always victory, for those who fight it. Even within a rigged system, you can still find some victories, like our people who have been at the forefront. They charge Lady K for terrorism. And the same people are bragging that they will continue to rehabilitate, reintegrate terrorists. But nevertheless, I ask you, despite what would let you know that the charade that they put up all the time and they try to gaslight people, blame you when you try to stand out, to fight an oppressive system that is killing people just before they kill you. When you stand out, they what? They gaslight you. They set up different crimes against you. They accuse you of different things. Even yourself in your own prison cell, you'll be wondering, am I really this powerful? Am I so powerful for this? No. They are paranoid. I mean, they are paranoid, animals, by the way, walking about in human flesh and human skin. I'm asking you, have you seen anybody convicted of any of the crimes that Bokohari and his criminal gang have been accusing people of, especially people that goes against their jihadist sentiment and this corrupt, bloodthirsty regime? Have you seen anybody convicted in their courts? Even as regards it is, let's start from Dasuki. When they grabbed Dasuki, they told you that the reason why they grabbed him was because he was using the money that was meant to be the money that they were supposed to use to fight terrorism, to fight Boko Haram, to buy weapons, right? That he was sharing the money for Goodluck Egbere Jonathan's second term in 2015. That was sellable. And in fact, it sold well, but there was no evidence to say, indeed, he shared the 2 billion. None of you, the Buhari idiots, the cyberbarians, actually was interested in the facts then. But it suits. But last, when they began digging, we found out that Azulu Sametu collected 450 million. So did Femi Fonikayo, they collected his own 500 million. So did Bokohari collected the 2 bulletproof SUV Jeep, as well as $300,000 in cash. So when they realized all of that, they realized that they had no case. But they've later told us that it was because Bokohari is an unforgiving son of a dog. That it was Dasuki that was in charge of Bokohari's house arrest when they overthrew him in 1985. When they overthrew the dictator, they put him in a house arrest. And they also denied him the opportunity to go and bury his mother. And he never forgave them for that. When he came in first, it was Dasuki he went for. It wasn't because Dasuki shared money and Bokohari wanted to get that money back. It wasn't because of that. Because last, Dasuki did prison. All of you believe that Dasuki did prison. Dasuki wife they born. They say Dasuki they do the name, they do child dedication. Haba, person where they prison. Bokohari's dungeon. How in wife they take born. When last, after 4 years, they freed Dasuki. No case. a few months after they freed Dasuki, his wife gave birth again. I said, this is just a few months ago. Does that mean that Dasuki no dey prison? Then all of the bobo, yeah? But why they are also putting cement for the neck of Olisa Metu, which suddenly became crippled and suddenly became disabled because of Bokohari. I mean, the money they said they collected from Jonathan. The, what do you call it? The now Canary, Femi Fonikayode. He also came out then, it was blazing. It was, everything about Bokohari was simply because they grabbed him. Say, oh yeah, money where you collected. Cut a long story short, they also grabbed El Zazaki. They told you they had to grab him. They will prosecute him. They will jail him. Story. At the end of the day, they had to let him go, even though they are planning to put him back there. They came out again. They said, how could Sowore say they should do revolution for a democratically elected government to overthrow Buhari? That's unacceptable, because the Mumus, what do you call it? The Mumus who brought this calamity upon themselves, the brainwashed fags who actually brought this upon themselves, yeah? They felt like, no, this suffering, this sufferness, this murderous regime is all they care for. Kill Sowore, kill Sowore, kill Sowore. He's committed a treason. And they said, what is the evidence? What are the evidences of the treasonable felony Sowore committed? They said Sowore transferred money from Sowore bank account to Sahara Reporters bank account. They said, who is Sowore? Who is by Sahara Reporters? And how is that a crime to overthrow government of Bokohari? They said, no, it's a crime. It cannot give us reason why. They said, okay, Sowore met with people in Dubai. They said, but Sowore never visited Dubai ever. No. They said, oh, we thought he visited Dubai. Okay, forget that. He didn't visit Dubai. You know what? Sowore, I want to overthrow government. That's treasonable felony. We will arrest, we'll give him city arrest. That is how they operate. They grabbed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They told you, oh, it's because blah, 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 blah. But yet, they couldn't convict him. They couldn't bring out the evidence. They are running away from their own courts. So if they come for you next time, all they have to do is to make up something to make you feel bad. They went for Oloye Sunday Igboho. They said, hey now, how can he be saying no to Oduduwa Republic? But last, it's not because they have any case against him. It is simply because they are paranoid. They are scared. They have the power, but they are scared of people who have no power, at least individually, but they believe that with the voice we have, somebody said, my microphone is more powerful than a gun. It's more powerful than Bokohari himself, because sometimes the message sings so well that people see themselves living it in reality, in a way. So all they have to do is just to say my microphone is a weapon of mass destruction, and they'll put me in jail. So the people who don't believe in their law, what they did to Oloye Sunday Igboho, even in their own court, we still got some sanity. Our brothers and sisters that they illegally abducted, and then 2 of them killed. They illegally abducted them. They started running away from courts. Now they are keeping 2 of them on trump-up charges to claim that they are now terrorists, where you and I know this is not true. They are holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu against his will, and they are subjecting his legal team to different kind of, human treatment that doesn't befit any legal team representing anyone that is accused. Accused of anything means that you are innocent until they prove you guilty. But because Nigeria won't prove Nnamdi Kanu guilty of anything, nothing, no crime can stick. They couldn't make it. I mean, they couldn't really, get him convicted of anything. They just want to keep him away, which is illegal. And because they are also illegal themselves, right? They don't give a damn. But they'll pay. As they are borrowing money in your name, so they will borrow money to pay Oloye Sunday Igboho's 20 billion naira damages awarded against your Daura Secret Service. Daura Secret Service, without any court order, without any court judgment, without any court invitation, without nothing, decided to attack the home of a civilian, Oloye Sunday Igboho, and they killed 2 people, right? Took their bodies away. Their families can't see them, and they then kidnapped about 13 of them. I mean, so 12 people, they kidnapped 12 people. Now they are holding 2 of them, charging them for terrorism. No evidence of them involved in any terrorism or any act of terrorism, but it is Nigeria. They'll make it up. They're already making it up, but they will have to borrow money to pay for all these things they are bringing. Somebody said they won't pay. Well, don't worry. They are going now to go and appeal. Just same way the Biafrans and the IPOB legal team are now suing the Kenya government. They said they are now in possession of the CCTV footage of how they kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at the Kenya airport. The Kenya airport parking lot where he was expected to meet a guest. The video is now in the IPOB legal team are now in possession of that video, and they are going ahead now to sue the Kenya government and their involvement in extraordinary rendition of a British citizen. That's something big, but they won't tell you how in Nigeria because they don't care. They believe they can do all of this and get away with it since they are doing it in the name of Nigeria. We know them. And that is why when the IPOB took their case to the ICC, and the Yoruba Nation, Sunday Igboho and the rest took their case to ICC as well. It is to give an individual indictment to the criminals who think they can hide under the disguise of, I am a minister. I was working as a minister then. I was an advisor. I didn't know about that. I wasn't involved. We know all of them that are involved. They won't be ministers forever. They won't be the Bokohari advisor forever. They will end up, they will end up in places that is worse than where they are keeping other people right now. Self-determination is, it is what? It is legal. It is legal. That is what the court said yesterday. That's what the court said over the weekend. On Friday, the court ruled that Nigeria must pay 20 billion naira in damages to Oloye Sunday Igboho for invading his privacy, invading his home without any legal backing. I know it is a shitty situation, okay? But it is a big win. It is. It is also for this legal team of ours that managed to get out 10 of our 12, kidnapped brothers and sisters. They will do the rest and get the rest out too. But look at this way. Because they make laws that they don't believe in, it is biting them. And once their law bites them, they resort to violence, they resort to illegality, which actually makes them feel powerful. And we are watching them as they are making more mistakes, ladies and gentlemen. 20 billion or nothing. Let them go and appeal it and pay their lawyers. I'll say, don't participate in their elections. Don't. I have friends who are still members of PDP. I have friends who are still members of APC. You may be shocked that I call them my friends. Somebody observed that and he said, Mayegun, you are so liberal. The way you take things makes you be in the middle of it. And being in the middle of it means that you can see all sides and you can present all sides' position in a very brilliant way that people can easily tell you have no allegiance or loyalty to any party. And that's true. And that's why I'll call you my friend. Even if I know that the path you are somehow threading is not a path that will lead us to anywhere other than the same square one, which is the catch-22. But if you are not my friend, how do you think I'm going to be getting an example to make out of you who are still convinced that Nigeria can work? They are running for 2023. But you know what makes Mayegun kind of so special is this. Despite them being my friends, they don't even have the balls. Well, don't let me say they don't have the balls. They respect me so well that they dare not even ask, Mayegun, I want you to support me. You're my friends now. We are friends now. You know me better now. You know that I believe in your teachings. I believe in your ideology. But you see, I'm a member of PDP. They don't talk to me that way. They just come back to say, Mayegun, you see that your last broadcast? Chai. You get what I mean? That puts me in a very, very good position that makes me an umpire, right? And I love it. No allegiance, no loyalty to anybody. If you have your own private agenda, it will come out at the end of the day. I am not somebody you can relate with that much and get so close to or get to influence to get you on that front chatter and say, okay, maybe PDP and APC are different. People don't gamble that with me. And I respect you for not gambling that with me. So I've got friends in there. But I'm telling you now, this is what I'm going to tell you if I have an opportunity of convincing you about anything. Don't join their voting process. It is validation. If we don't vote, they will just appoint, you are deceiving yourself. The people that told you that if you don't participate in an election, they are going to rig the election for somebody else, and that person is going to rule over you, and blah, 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 other jack shit they tell you. Let me try and burst your bubble a little bit. You will be lying to yourself if you believe that a rigged system can actually produce a real result. You all know the process of, even the process of selecting their candidates. You know the process of getting them to scale through the ordeal of their godfathers. All of you have no say in what is called the rules or the laws, the guidelines of all these political parties, the secret meetings, the rituals, the pledges, and so many other things that goes on the ground, which are 99% not in your interest. You are not involved in their selection. You are not involved in their screening. They become candidates that are not different, just birds of different, of the same wings. And then they match you out there. Go and validate either of these two. And you begin to look at them on what they say to you. People that will appeal to your fear. People that are always, their trade and training is what? To prey on you. Preying on you means they know your vulnerability. They know your lack. They know your fear. They know everything they need to know. All that it requires. Because you know why they know? They made them happen to you. And all they need to do is to appeal to your fear. And at the same time, tap into your emotion using religion, using tribe, ethnic, and other things that are really pretty much not determinant to how they rule you. Now, when you now go out there, what you do when you register to vote any of them is this. You just validate the system. It simply means you agree with the process that popped them up. If you choose to go and probably go on and vote for any other political party, you will be shocked that they are not actually different from this big one you are talking about too. Check their own democratic process, selection process, and it will shock you that they are just the offshoot of the same bigger ones, the bigger criminals. And why do you have to validate any of those processes? By voting. Referendum is also voting. Do you know that? Demanding for a new constitution that actually gives power to the local people to select and elect their own representatives. Something that is just, something that is equal, something that is inclusive, something that involves you genuinely, not like a trade by barter. You want my vote, you give me your money. You want my vote, you give me wrapper. You want my vote, you give me the of rice. Not trade by barter system. A system that is all inclusive, where you know if you choose that person, whether he has money or he has no money, he will deliver. He will work for you because he is one of you genuinely, not a propped up criminal that pretended to be poor, like Bokohari, who had his children and his wife trained in the UK, who had his doctor, still has his doctors in the UK, but decided to take a picture with fake Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu, Oshunbade, who is also a billionaire on his own, having worked with a thief called Thief Numbu in Lagos. He was the Commissioner of Justice under Thief Numbu. All the landed properties stolen by Thief Numbu converted to his name and the name of his cronies and the proxies. They were done by the redeemed pastor, fake Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu, that has now become the special advisor to Bokohari on burial arrangement, condolences matter, and trader money. The same fake Pastor Ruga sat with Daura Megad, that had his own children, being trained at one of the best schools in the UK, living the best life in the UK, living the best life that any of you could only dream of. But they managed to put them together in a room, put a sachet Milo beside them, and they said, see how simple life they are living. This is how the president and the blah, blah, blah should be. And 6 years after they lied to you, you are still waiting for that Mr. Integrity, Mr. Integrity Thief. His money is now flying, not just flying, private jet anymore. He is flying presidential jet. He is controlling 11 of them. His wife now has her own private jet, presidential jet. Even his own daughter, photographer. You be photographer, Abi. His own daughter wanted to go and take picture. Wanted to go and attend the Tobani or whatever in Bauchi. They had to put her inside one of the private jets. The Megad that snapped with Milo, that told you that they were going to turn Nigerian presidential jet to Nigerian hair, only for them to come back 2 years later to show you logo designed in Bahrain for $420,000. These criminals who presented themselves as your poor people, you know it. Rigged system. It is appealing. When you are poor, you want everybody to be poor too. That's what they say to you. I am saying that sometimes your poverty is not lack of money. Your poverty is not lack of everything that other people have. Sometimes, or most of the time, your poverty is poverty of the mind. Poverty of the mind is what will make somebody who left Nigeria 15 years ago and is still living outside Nigeria, and he's telling you he loves Nigeria from abroad. He will never relocate his business if he has any. He will never relocate back to Nigeria, which the weather is so good. You know the weather of Nigeria is so good, right? That's what they tell you. They'll say, Nigeria is a beautiful place. Nigeria is a beautiful country. Continue to pray. The way they left 15 years ago. Some of them left 20, 25 years ago. They just want to come back home and at least pretend to have made it and succeeded because they know Nigeria is programmed to fail. Poverty of the mind will make somebody who is enjoying 24 hours electricity abroad to tell somebody who is enjoying 24 hours darkness in Nigeria to pray to God for electricity and endure because Rome was not built in a day. And they will tell you that those who are asking you to break up Nigeria and they are outside Nigeria, they are enemy of Nigeria. They themselves are outside Nigeria, enjoying what you can only dream of. They are telling you to pray for it. Poverty of the mind is what will make some of you having small little money. When you are in a country that has no plan for you, you know it, I know it. No insurance, no nothing. But you have to flex. Buy yourself a new car so that your neighbor will know that you are now better off. Buy yourself a new generator, a bigger one that can now carry freezers. Your neighbors can know that you are now better than them. A poverty mind that will make somebody to think that he's better off than others. By building himself a mansion inside shanty, surrounded by the poorest of the poorest shanty, where nothing works, but everybody exists. They'll say that is an estate. We are outside the estate. They put fences around themselves. Only more or less like living in prisons. Gated prisons called estate. Our estate. Welcome to our estate. Our estate is very safe and secure. It's only outside the estate that they rob people. They say, man, this our estate used to be safe. Now, people are being robbed inside our estates. You know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you the idea of the poverty of the mind, where people think they can run away from a problem by just trying to make some money, build the fancy houses, buy themselves fancy automobiles, but they will have to drive them on terrible roads that they cannot even take pictures in. Terrible, terrible ones. Yeah, you are laughing. Don't laugh. It's not funny. That is what Nigeria is. A fake appearance that makes some people think they are better off than the other people. Yes, we live in Lekki. We live in Lekki. Oh, you live in Lekki. Oh, that's great. That's a great place. Now, Boko Haram don't they live in Lekki? People where they live Lekki, they find another enter. They say, are you living in Lekki or you're living in Lekki inside? If you go to those areas now, they will say, are you living in Lekki or you're living in inside? Some people are finding more places that are safer as the whole country continue to go downward or downhill. That is poverty of the mind. If you feel like you are rich, you can afford to build fence around yourself, build yourself a mansion that will attract thieves out there so that you can then put on security, by the way. Buy yourself some different, fancy stuff that makes you look so different or safe when you are not. I keep telling you, it's timely. It's poverty of the mind. I'm now asking you, Lekki no save, Oshodi no save, Egbeda no save, Okokomaiko no save, even Abuja no save. Talk less of wherever you think you found yourself now. But something is existing, and that is the existential threat from the government that brought this upon you. Don't join them in mobilizing to vote and validate them again every 4 years. Some of you are preparing already. Good luck with that. But for those who are standing their ground, maybe we can all demand for what? For a new constitution, a referendum, things that would then make us at least, have an idea of what kind of Nigeria you still want to be involved in. What kind of Nigeria do you still want to be part of? If you have to ask everybody, would you like to continue to be part of this Nigeria as it is right now? Even for those who want one Nigeria, they are likely going to tell you that they want it differently. So we all want the same thing, differently. The governors and the politicians are beginning to see that they need to detach themselves and cut out their own fund from the rest of the country so that they can be able to really care for the people that give them the power or people they stole the power from. That is a change. It is called smash the reset button. Smash it. Are you with me? You can make a difference by asking for it. Those who wanted, those who want Biafra, they said, no, let's break everything up. Those who want Yoruba Nation said, you know what, let's break everything up and just go our different ways. Well, we all want same thing differently. How about we begin to realize that the only thing we seem not to really understand that will work is the fact that if there is a real pressure to tell people to demand and stop any election, you can't continue to elect in this chaos where people just write names. They just write names. And because you have no sovereignty or any control over who they choose for you, that's why you have no say in who cross to where. You can agonize, you can hurt, you can feel bad or sad, but you have no control over them. But there's something we have control over: our mind. If you reject the setup, if I reject it, and somebody say, what would then be the alternative? The first thing is that when you make the system become so obsolete that it becomes inconsequential, nothing changes, right? They then will start feeling resistance from people that will say, no, I'm not binded by that law. No, I'm not covered by that law. No, I'm not going to obey that. When you have them a lot in large numbers, that means you are taking back the power. Don't make this sound like I'm sounding like I'm speaking, riddle to you. This is not a riddle. This is not a puzzle. I'm trying to unlock your mind to tell you that if all you know going on right now doesn't feel so real, they are sorry, they are unbelievable, it's because they are. But when you begin to agree with the people who brought us to this level, you are not making any difference. When you begin to speak to your fear, what if, and when you let your Nigeria anyhowness affect you, the Nigeria whataboutism, all this little gap that have become widened gap. When I say gap, I'm talking about our differences that makes us see things differently, even though we should see it same way. The political class, the criminals, when I say the political class, the elite, where you found your pastor, you will find your chief imam, you will find your professors, you will find all the think tanks and all the rest they call themselves, right? They are all together, they call themselves the elite. And once you begin to detach yourself from what they say, the advices and opinion they give that are not really in tandem with the reality, you are the reality. If Nigeria is burning you, you are the reality. Whichever way it is affecting you right now, economically, health-wise, educationally, name it, you are the victim. So therefore, you don't listen to them. When you begin to detach yourself from them, psychologically, mentally, you see every other solution people gives to you, they'll begin to make sense. Let's break up Nigeria. Yes, let's do it. Let's restructure and everybody can control their resources. Yes, let's do it. They will begin to get more momentum. And these are viable, important demand that you can put an election on hold for if you don't know. But if we don't vote, they are just going to select anybody. Are you the one voting them right now? Ask yourself this question. Did you really vote for them? Did you? Or is it because you are just scared that they will select anybody? They will always select anybody. But the way to take that power back will sound so ridiculous. Like that sounds ridiculous. No. Do you know the people that are afraid that if you don't vote, they are not going to feed? They are the people that have been agreeing with you all this while. The APC, the Al-Qaeda People's Congress, all past criminals, Al-Qaeda People's Congress, all the people that have been agreeing with you that they are failure, they are jihadists, they are this. Some of them are secretly PDP members, PDP admirers. 6 years without PDP. Some of them they are like chameleon. They have managed to pretend to like what you like. What do you like? You want Biafra. What do you like? You want Yoruba Nation. Abi? Since PDP no they pay. Since every other affiliation they have with PDP no they pay. 6 years. They also want Biafra. They also want a Yoruba Nation. They also do this and that, blah, 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 blah. But a lie. They are bidding their time for an election. They are befriending you. They are gaining your trust. You are following them. You are listening to them. Their ideas and yours are looking alike. It is called grooming. They were grooming you for another election. If you want to know why they are angry when you say no election, it be like say you've already made their plan fail. Some of them no carry PDP flag. They no carry PDP membership. But they have brothers, they have sisters, they have friends, they have fathers, they have relatives, they have neighbors, they have mentors, they have people they've met before who are members of all these hoodlum criminal organizations called political parties in Nigeria. Even though they don't live in Nigeria, they are still in touch with all these elements. When they shout Biafra in the morning, when they see any of these elements, they will keep the Biafra inside pockets and they'll begin to discuss how PDP can come to power. When you see them, and they are like Yoruba Nation, and when you say no election, they'll start fighting you, and you begin to wonder, wait, oh, Shebi me and you be Oduduwa ni me. Say, I'll leave Oduduwa for now. You cannot be saying that people should not vote. How are we going to get Oduduwa when people don't vote? They'll start fighting you. And you'll be wondering, like, how come you are interested in voting again? You be Oduduwa ni me talk on. They say you be Biafra, no. Biafra to Biafra. They say Kedu, you say Kedu Odima. Kedu Odima. They say, Yoruba Oduduwa ni me, you say talk on. Which level now? Why you call the campaign for election? Why are you there angry? When people say no election, don't participate in their rubbish. Ask for referendum. Then they start arguing with you. They will start fighting you. You say, and they'll start shalaye. They do some shalaye. They would be shalaye for you. You know what? You see, we need to look for the best aspirants. We need to look for the best candidates. It can be anybody that will help us. I say, where are those candidates now? How many of them they talk about Yoruba Nation? How many members of PDP is talking about Yoruba Nation? How many PDP members are talking about APC members are talking Yoruba Nation? How many APC, Egbekegbe, and PDP are talking about Biafra? How many of them? So don't let any. Those are the people that will blackmail you. They become so offended. Suddenly they become offended, and you'll be saying, you say, I support Biafra, but we cannot say we should not vote. If we don't vote, Bokohari is going to put somebody there. You see? Then, what would that then change? So I should go and vote for PDP so that Buhari will not put somebody there. How is that in my own favor? It's still good because APC is bad. You and I agree that APC is bad. So let PDP can say, sure. Bros, you be PDP. No, I'm not PDP. I'm just saying that Biafra cannot just come like that. We say, bros. I'm saying this now because you have met some of them. Some of you are doing like this on your phone, like, woo. Hi. Bros, I'm disappointed in you. You say, no, I'm trying to explain. Don't explain anything. Why are you interested in the election? Why? Ask them. Now, them. So don't let anybody blackmail you. Don't let anybody say you don't know what you are doing. Omodolagbe. That's a beautiful name, Stephen Oladapo. Thank you very much for your super sticker. Thanks, Mayegun, for great job. Some days our children shall tell your good stories. Amen to that. Posterity will what? Will be kind to many, many of us. Will take time. Mazi Nwaka. I have seen your super sticker as well. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. So remember, guys, on YouTube, we are not so many today, but those who attend the service today are doing well. Remember, leave your offerings by clicking that like just before you go. Mazi, thank you. Nwaka. And then my good brother there, thank you. I have another one from, James Ogunlowo. Thank you very much. So I told people, I said that, we monitor things. The Southern governors said they are going to keep their money. They're not sharing the money again, okay? Don't let anybody blackmail you into anything. Let them continue to do what they are doing, all right? Don't die in their war. The oppressors are scared, and they have every right or every reason to be scared. Mind of the people are changing. People are beginning to ask questions. People are no longer sitting duck anymore. They are not pretending that God will care for the whole thing. More people are speaking up, and that is not comfortable for the oppressors. You should find a way for yourself. Find a place for yourself to know where you are really suited. Outing yourself or ready to liberate yourself. It starts from here, your mind. No one can help you but yourself. And like I said, nobody is fighting for you if you are not fighting for yourself. I told people, when people say they are freedom fighters, they are this fighter and the rest of that fighter, I am saying that I see in them,
people who have decided to conquer their fear, they don't care what the consequences is going to be. And the first fight, the first victory of theirs is to defeat their fear within. If you defeat your fear within, you are a freedom fighter that can stand anything, okay? Speaking up alone is strong. And that's why I'm looking forward to a day. I'm going to see some of you in Glasgow. Remember, we are planning to have our own solidarity rally in Glasgow next month. I know many of you will make it a trip. Let me give you the date. If everything goes well, by the 10th of October, I'm going to be seeing so many of you in Glasgow. If you are in the UK, you better start planning. Yes, play your role. Do your part. Liberate the mind. Speak out when you have to. Speak up when you have to. Defend those that can't defend themselves. Speak up for those that can't speak for themselves. When you do that, you may not know. You're actually doing it for yourself. For yourself. I hope that sync. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time today. For the Sunday sermon as it is today, remember, if you don't love yourself, who else would? If you don't speak out for yourself, and you have people who are speaking out for you, what you have to do is this: digest them. Digest them. Think about them. And you found how easy it is to detach yourself from the lies, from the fraud, and every other thing that they sold us as Nigerians. When you begin to ask that questions, you will see through the inequality. Then you will be kind of interested in making a difference. Do not underrate what you can do until you start. Many of those who told me that I was wasting my time, many of those who told me, is that what you went to the UK to do? Baba, leave Nigeria and face your life. Here I am, 9 years after. My life remains better, continues to get better. And I continue to speak about the problem, continue to win souls, where people are beginning to say, I have been listening to you, Mayegu, for years. Never was I ever in a state of coming to conclusion that I'm going to agree with you. You are so good. Your consistency saved me and is saving many others. Look at that. You don't know what you can do until you start. Speak up, speak out. Join us, and then let's make it happen. Freedom is free if you are ready to pay the first price, which is defeating your fear. Yes, you can. When you do that, and that starts from here, from your mind. That's where the fear lives. If you defeat it in your mind, you will defeat anything. Freer than ever. Some said it's not that easy. Mayegun, you can feel free from UK. Okay. I've got over I've got over 350,000 people watching Mayegun from Nigeria alone. Every week. On YouTube alone. 250,000. I don't think if I wasn't making an impact on them, they will keep coming back. So if you think it's not working, it's because you haven't tried. Detach yourself from every lie you've been told, and you'll witness how easy it is. Join me later tonight, if you have the time, during our prime time. And if you're just joining, just reverse this or rewind it and watch again. Good afternoon.
Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Máyégún ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. fàdìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí fa. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Òkúrọ̀ olóṣèlú. Máyégún máa wí. Àníyàn sọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Àníyàn sọ́ra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lé ibo níṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti jọba lórí abínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì o. Ẹ̀yin bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.